Can I watch it also on Facebook? Maybe. And the video will be streaming on your channel.
Yes, it's streaming right now.
Oh, yeah, yeah. Nice. I can see us.
Ah, good.
Yeah.
So nice. Beautiful, beautiful, beautiful. Wow. So I would like to introduce my guest today. And am I pronouncing it correctly? Is it Andre or
Andre. Okay. Okay.
Andre?
Yes.
Not an Andrej, Andre, right?
Andre. It's okay.
Yeah. Well, so glad that you are here, ANDREJ OFAK. And hi, Mark. Yeah. We are very excited to be here. And when I heard Andre playing this beautiful music, I was very excited to speak with him.
Thanks.
Yeah. And you're in Slovenia, right?
Yeah, I'm from Slovenia. Yes. I was interested because you said if I play jazz, but I don't know what actually I don't understand what jazz means today.
Well, you're not the only one. Yeah, one of a great jazz player I know said he calls it free music. He just doesn't call it jazz or being free.
Yeah.
Yeah, and well, what do you call the music that we just heard?
I don't call it. people call it uh, poetische Weltmusik. The poetic world music has some German journalist in. She had said that is like our style is like poetic world music.
Poetic word or world?
World, yeah,
World.
world.
Poetic world music. Wow, I'm going to write that down. That's a lovely
That sounded okay to me.
yeah. Poetic world music. That's nice. Hi, Mike Jokum. Yes, he said what Duke Ellington said. There's good music and bad music. That's it.
Yeah, that's it.
Well, especially now in this present moment, and probably for the last 15 or 20 years, I think there's been a lot of blending of things that styles that used to be called genres, which of course that still is, but I think that's happened more and more and more in the last 15 years or so, right?
Mm.
Yeah.
What's your favorite style? Do you have some preference to some blues or some, I don't know.
I probably like, of course, I have to be in the mood for it. Doesn't I could put on my favorite guitar player, but if I'm not in the mood, I go to something else. Well, first of all, I like things that create that magical space, that we musicians can create. So I like that. One of my favorite music styles is kind of the old cool jazz, like old Miles Davis, you know,
Mm.
not not early, but a little later, like kind of blue era. I like
Yeah,
that style a lot.
I take this anytime also.
Yeah. But see, then again, I love Marvin Gaye, like if I was on a desert island, that idea, if you're on a desert island, what records would you have? What's going on? Marvin Gaye's classic record. I probably would be so happy with that. So, and why? The thing is, there's a quality of sound in the music it's fluid. It doesn't jump around. It's kind of fluid and connected. Even the
Mhm.
songs, there's no real ending between the songs. The songs end and then start immediately up into another song. Plus, the his singing is really beautiful, and the message of that whole record is I just love. Are you familiar with that record?
No, I will check it out.
Yeah, it's called What's Going On, and it was around probably the early 70s when a lot of turmoil was happening, especially in America. Young people were speaking out, and the war was being, you know, um, blocked, and all that kind of stuff. And actually, I believe that was his first record where he did what he really wanted to do, kind of as a serious artist. Because before that, he was a pop star, basically, R&B star, and but it was all kind of good dance music and that kind of thing. And then he wanted to do that, and the company was not into it, the record company, but he just kept pushing for it, and then it was probably one of the biggest selling records on the planet. So it's really good.
Okay, nice. I'll check it out. I also was listening what you did with some guitarist, some ballads or something, very peaceful music, and you did like some he talks some words in, and I don't remember the names, but I was checking you out a little. I liked it very much. This sound, this big.
Oh, I think I know what you mean. You mean, was it my partner was actually talking the
Yeah,
words? Yeah, that was
cool.
a Billy Joel song called "And So It Goes,"
Yeah.
and the person speaking was the singer Paul Jost. He's from the East Coast. He's a very passionate human being, And I wanted to take music from the 70s mostly, or 70s and 80s maybe, and redo them now, you know.
Mm.
So, very nice arrangement with a great guitar player, Anthony Wilson. And then I sent it to my friend Paul to see what he wanted to sing on, and he sent it back to me with his speaking. And I was so, yeah, I was,
Yeah, that's great.
yeah, it was really beautiful.
Mm.
Really did a great job. But thank you very much. And this music that we just listened to of yours, I find it fascinating that your partner in it, the accordion player, you and he have started playing together when you were 11.
Yes. We went into like kindergarten. I don't know how you say kindergarten. Yeah, we went together,
Yeah,
and we were kids. We were friends.
yeah,
We are still the best friends. Uh,
I can imagine.
we go fishing together. We go smoking. Started trying smoking and all the stuff, you know.
Uh-huh.
And we formed a band in very early age. Uh, and he is the person I look up a lot because he's all about originality and making our own music. So we started from the beginning, from scratch. We started to make our own.
Does he only play accordion?
Yes, he also plays some percussion and guitar,
Okay.
but his main instrument is accordion, and
Yeah,
he writes a lot.
yeah.
He's always doing something.
Who wrote that song that you played?
Actually, this is his song. He wrote it for me. I played
Oh,
it. Yeah, yeah. And it's a strange combination from Slovenia. You know, it's very small, but it's from very different parts of culture and music. So one part is called Rizian part, and they have like this drone as boom, brown, brown, bram, bram, bam, bam. You
yeah.
know, this is the vibe. Only one drone, and this is a combination between this music and we heard some northern music like Irish,
Yeah,
and
that sounds Irish.
so so we named it uh, Iria. Iria because it's
Oh,
a combination of Resia and Irish Iria. So
cool.
yeah, this
Yeah, very nice.
I like a lot. Yeah.
Yeah. You're, well, let me ask you this. I'm curious how you started playing. Did you, were you always a guitarist and uh, is, did you have this passion for guitar or was it something else? I remember reading on on your uh, bio that you guys got into punk and rock and metal and hard metal and
Yeah, you name
death
it.
metal.
Yeah.
But then it said then India happened for you.
Also, yeah. Mhm.
Yeah.
Yeah,
So
I started
yeah.
when I was 6 year old because my father was playing electric guitar, acoustic
Ah,
guitar.
yeah.
He he formed a band and they like to sing, you know, guitar and sing. So
Yeah.
this was a part of my life
Yeah.
and never took it serious.
Oh,
I didn't know. I
yeah.
didn't know. Yeah, when I was I don't know, maybe 17 years, I started thinking maybe I could play the guitar because this is the only thing. But I was always playing it, but I didn't know. I didn't feel myself like a guitarist. I don't know why. Because always when I have a thought like, yeah, I'm gonna get great. I'm gonna be the best. I immediately stopped because I was not progressing. I don't know why I couldn't progress with this mentality. So I always then put away, and then in half hour later I was playing, but not thinking that I'm
Yeah.
a guitarist. So when the time came, I said, okay, better to play guitar than study something else and play guitar. And so I said, okay, jazz I don't like because it's city music. classical, I heard the Concerto de Aranjuez from Rodriguez. Said, okay, this sounds nice. Okay, if I can study this, I will try. So I will try, and I went to Graz, to Austria, and I was admitted to without school. I had only this we say basic school, basic music school. You play like you play for 6 years, and then you have to go to high school. But I didn't go high school guitar. Go high school was rock metal, death metal, and and then I studied classical music, and then at the same time the India Bhagavad Gita and Srila Prabhupada and this movement, Hare Krishna movement, came, and I was attracted to everything. And again, I was doing the study and everything from duty perspective, and again, the music was only spiritual music at that time, and guitar was again not so important. So
Yeah.
I was playing it, but I'm talking about my mind, my
Yeah.
you know,
Well,
and
it sounds like you were more interested in the music and the aesthetic of the music, right?
yeah.
Yeah.
Yeah, because when
Uh-huh.
you go to spiritual sound, then the vibration is the most important thing, and not the artistic knowledge.
Right.
Mm. So yeah, and later on, I decided that I have to learn a guitar a little better and understand it. So last 10 years, I'm dedicated to guitar, and I built my own system how to learn how to improvise. And I still make mistakes. I did this because I made mistakes, and because again, I'm a teacher. I have to know how things work, and I started to from ground zero. Like how can I look at the guitar? How can I approach it? And I'm still doing this. So I developed some interesting ways how to learn how to teach the notation to kids, because I teach kids in the school classical music. Actually, it's not classical, but we do classical approach, like classical guitar, and actually they are getting their first steps in music. So I don't call it like the classical, but it's music school.
Yeah.
So they're my teachers, and they learn me how to be simple and how to approach this complex instrument with simplicity.
Yeah. So do you, I understand that. Do you kind of improvise as you go, or have you set up particular exercises and perspectives that you have found work all the
Yeah,
time? Is
yeah,
it that?
yeah. I'm teaching the notation and everything through the cycle of thirds, not the cycle of fifths, but the cycle of thirds.
Hmm.
And it begins on E, like guitar is E, and then you go E, G, B, D, E, G, B, D,
Yeah.
F, A, C.
Yeah.
This is the low octave from the guitar, and then it's middle A, G, B, D, F, A, C, and then it's high. And the first year they learn every all the notation on the guitar in this way,
Oh. Huh.
because if you look at A, G, B, D,
Yeah.
these are the first four lines from the notation A, G, B, D, and F, H, C is in the middle.
Yeah.
In the lower section also it comes like to some logic. And I also made up some words to remember this. I won't tell you in Slovenian. I can tell you the translation. It's called En grozno hiter dinozaver, And what it's meaning is one very big dinosaur, and the other one FAC is full, absolutely cool. So this is the way I teach. They learn in 2 months the notation, and then we can improvise. Then we took notes, and because always AGBD always sounds nice. And guitar anyway, it's tuned in pentatonic, so you can do nice stuff. Yeah.
Cool. That's nice. That's really good. I'm trying to imagine how I could apply something like that to singing. You know, I guess I'd have to find what the general singer comes lacking, you
Mm.
know, and because the singers they're so all over the place that I teach because I teach mostly privately at this point. So I could have a 70-year-old woman coming who, you know, has sung before and but not super professionally and maybe doesn't really understand theory and, but wants to sing with musicians, or a 15-year-old girl who's, not quite committed yet, or excited about what I would consider the right thing, Um, and the right thing, I just mean committed to a passion, you know,
Mm.
and how to get a young person, especially who doesn't come already with passion. How do you get that interest going? So their challenges are, extremely varied.
Yeah, you have to improvise with every and single person,
Yeah.
if I understand. Yeah, yeah. I'm not so. I also improvise a lot because every person is different.
Yeah.
But I happen to teach like children for they're with me for 6 or 8 years. Some.
Mm.
Um, and also then I don't teach in the middle, and then the people that have played a long time that want to know some complex stuff also come to me. But this happens rare. Somebody comes and takes, and it's not like these are researchers. They want to know how, and then they go. So I teach very advanced and very basic. So in the middle, I don't have the patience. I say, oh, go to YouTube. I don't have the patience, and so
That's interesting. Yeah, I
yeah,
can teach the middle and the advanced
yeah,
uh, and the young people. I mean, I can teach beginners, but young people, I find it challenging to keep their attention, you know. So
yeah,
that's just not my forte. I never had children, so maybe that's why, I don't really have that understanding.
yeah. But this is in people in their teens.
Yeah,
Yeah, this is hard stuff.
yeah,
I teach younger, I teach the people that are not didn't went through this world, this programming and this stuff that their mind would become bored.
yeah.
I have a young, always something new. A couple of days, one young boy, he's this tall, red hair. He told me, I use both hands too. I'm like both-handed. So I said, wow, how did it came to this? He said, I practice also with left hand writing, so just in case if my right hand would go broken on. I couldn't write, so I practice. Wow, this is some deep stuff, you know. And he's very smart. His brain is developing because you know, you can develop your brain if you develop your
Yeah.
left hand. Yeah.
That's
So,
very interesting. Yeah.
so yeah, that's yeah. This is the mentality that
Yeah.
I'm looking for in children, and
Yeah.
I found it, and they see that I see, and like we're like friends, and I'm also like teacher. I must say, and then end of the year I always apologize because you know we're friends, and so we can
That's funny. Yeah,
yeah.
my 15-year-old student just yesterday, I had been preparing her a lot this year for auditions. And I've only been teaching her this year, so um, there were definite things that she's not been doing that I want her to do, but I didn't want to push it because she was stressed out, you know. She had to do these auditions and she was in school and, you know, the
Mm,
kids now they do so many different things, you know. And so now we're getting ready only for one more audition. So now yesterday I was a little more hard on her. And I
yeah.
said, like for instance, I said if you want to be better, if you want to be a real jazz singer, if you want to grow, you have to learn the melody. You have to sit down at the piano and play the melody. And you need to do that. And now I'm going to be pushing you to do that, you know, because, yeah, you can't, she knows how to play the piano. So
Mhm.
it's easy, you
No
know?
problem. Yeah,
Yeah.
yeah. This is a lot of time must be taken for music if you really want to like it and enjoy it what you do. So this
Yeah.
is actually a hard job to be a teacher.
Yeah. It's even a hard job to be a musician, you know?
Yeah.
I have I'm always trying to organize my time so I can fit everything in, you know.
Mm.
And there's so many things to do, you know,
Yeah.
to support yourself. You're
Yeah.
right.
Yeah.
And to be a good musician and to have fun and yeah, have gigs and yeah.
Mm. I'm lucky to so I can teach. So I can go. I go to in the woods to the nature uh, and take the guitar with me and just play anything from nothing. Just listen and just play. I could do this. This is this is for me. This is my base, you know. I like to go. I like to have gigs. I like to play. I like to touch people. I like to be touched by people. But the nature was always first.
Yeah.
Yeah, and lately more so. Lately more so because a couple of years back I was ill and I get some autoimmune response, body response. So my muscles begin to dry up.
Mm.
So I was losing strength. I couldn't play anymore,
Oh,
and they didn't know what it is. I went to doctor and everything, and then I remembered that in my teens there was a man that cured himself by eating fruits.
okay.
And I said, okay, I tried without dairy, I tried without gluten. It was a little better, but and I tried on fruit. I thought this was a 1 week, 2 week experiment, and now it's prolonged to 4 years.
Oh,
And I'm living on fruit, and now that I'm living on fruit, I touched the even more peace I found than in spirit. Only when I was like spiritual and mantras and this, I found the connection to trees, and now I have bought some land and I'm planting the trees. Some trees are already there, fruit trees. So I'm reviving this. Um, uh, we, how can I say this, symbiotic relationship with the trees, and now even more connected to nature and to something, something that is driving me. Also my music, I'm thinking, like I wrote to you last time, I'm thinking how was the music before the religions, before the 100,000 years ago, how would it be, how it is, because this is at the same time also the forest is there, and you can go there and you can find the inspiration, you can be touched. And so it's, for me it's now pentatonic. It's like this base that I'm building, more so. Yeah, this is now.
This is great. This is very interesting. So, well, first of all, I guess you call yourself, I mean, in English, a fruitarian, I guess, like a
Yeah,
vegetarian,
yeah,
fruitarian.
fruitarian. Yeah,
Yeah,
yeah, because 99% of my calories come from fruit. I also eat salads,
yeah,
and I take some supplements. Um, High nutrition, it's important because the way the fruit is grown today, they put only three nutrients in the soil, like potassium, phosphor, and nitrogen. So you can be low on some nutrients even on fruit because it's not so good quality,
yeah.
especially if you're ill, if you were ill before, like me.
So
uh,
how did did you heal up uh, fast by,
no, no, it was slow,
yeah.
but the energy inside told me that it's okay, because I felt the sun energy after 1 week inside me. And the stuff that was going out of me was good sign that I'm cleaning up. And I
Yeah.
also find some people like Annie Osborne and Don Bennett. Those are people that are doing this for a long time and know how to approach it. It's important that you don't take too much fat when on fruit, because fat and sugar don't go good together. And we're I was eating a lot of fat, so to take this balance, to learn, to body needs to learn this technique like music. You have to learn. Body is faster than we are, but it takes some time. After a year there was great improvement, and again, after a year, again great improvement,
Mm.
again. And I lost some phobias, and some abilities came that were never there for me. Like I couldn't read aloud, before. I couldn't hear my voice and read aloud, and now I can do it, no
Mm.
problem.
Huh.
Yeah, and I had some fears when I was driving, through tunnels. I had some phobia, some anxiety problems that went away, and my music got better. So this is the most important stuff. If I can play
Oh,
better, that's it. That is worth it.
that's
I'm still
really
attracted to
interesting.
some food, but I don't go there. I tried, but my body tells me, okay,
Yeah,
you don't need it. Okay, I don't need it. I tried, but okay.
yeah,
So
yeah, I can imagine that.
yeah,
Yeah, that's pretty good. I've I've done a few various types of diets. I have a cough that I've had for many years, like 20 years. And so I keep trying to, I've been to many doctors, Eastern doctors, Western doctors, to find out what it is. I mean, I don't mind Western medicine necessarily, but in this kind of a thing, for coughs, they have two ways they treat it. It's either you either have asthma or you have what's called GERD, like
yeah,
digestive.
good.
Yeah,
Yeah.
yeah.
Uh,
So and that's just it doesn't work. It's not my problem.
Yeah,
And so yeah, but and Eastern and supplemental medicines. I've tried Ayurvedic diets and um, there's been a number of things on the Eastern side of medicine that have worked for a week or so, and then I go back
mhm.
to coughing. So yeah, it's interesting, and I think diet is an interesting thing when you limit your diet and your head is really has a good perspective. You can stick on it, and like you say, when you go off of it, your body just says, "No, this doesn't work," you know.
Mm,
So I
yeah,
think it's great, but it's intriguing also that you had things like phobias leave and that
yeah,
your music got better.
yeah, and reading also got better.
Reading.
Yeah, yeah. Mm,
Yeah, that's
yeah,
very interesting. And so, regarding, as you were saying, the earlier times, um, like way back, when mankind was first starting. Hi, Joyce. Um, so, uh, what do you think about What do you think about? Do you think about that stuff a lot? Do you have a certain idea of
yeah.
what's going
Lately,
on?
lately, I think about a lot. I also found some researcher. His name is Tony Wright.
Okay.
He wrote some interesting thoughts on this. And the basic idea is that the core of the earth, the jungle, the
Yeah.
equator, it is chemically the most complex organism is the center of or the jungle. You have the most complex stuff going on there. So it is idea that we develop somehow in the center of the earth, and that we might be depending on these reproductive organs of the plants that it call fruits, because you don't have to do anything. You just go and pick it. It falls like you can meditate and falls on your head. Um, and this is the idea that someday before we have to went from the jungle to the like savannah. Or I don't know how to say in English. We went where the lions are. There's no like jungle. There's like hunter mentality, hunter gatherer mentality. That before that we might be in the center of earth, in the jungle where the fruits are, and and something must have happened that we have to move a lot. This ages, ice age, and so on, and we have to move out. And the idea is that our brain has developed in the center very greatly, and then was suppressed many times in the ages. And the religions are trying to help, like India, and so to help meditation, to help heal the brain, because we have like two brains. One is left, right, you know, and like yeah, the idea is that the right hemisphere was suppressed by the left that is damaged. So the idea is that people that have a tendency to rule have more damaged left hemisphere than others, and that you can tap into the right hemisphere that is not so damaged by music, by meditation, also by drugs, and experience some levels of consciousness that are not everyday experience. And we musicians, we know that we can tap into to some different spheres of life on, and and so this is interesting that with this chemical structure of food, like I did it with fruit, that this actually happened. And because I'm experiencing these symptoms, I'm interested in this matter in this way that I'm explaining now. So these are my thoughts. You wanted to know if I'm? Yes, I am. I'm into this now because I don't I can't ignore it.
Fascinating. It's great. I love it. Um, as a matter of fact, your painting behind you feels like exactly what you're talking about.
Yeah.
That the one, the big circular one.
Circular. There's also the tree.
Yes.
This is a famous painter from Switzerland called Claudio Baccala. Uh,
Both pieces.
yeah. He did these trees were very. His trees are very known and popular.
Oh, yeah. Well, they're the perfect background to your
Yeah,
yeah,
also
to what you're saying.
inspiration. But they were there before. This is from Karin. From
Ah. Oh, well, it was meant to be.
yeah, it was meant to be, and it was meant to be.
Yeah, yeah, yeah. Interesting. Um,
Should I play something for you?
yes, I would love it.
Okay. I would like to play some piece that comes from inspiration comes from one children's song, but it developed totally differently. And the name is Beware the Hunter.
Okay.
Thanks.
Beautiful. Very beautiful. I want to sing with you.
Ah, that's nice.
Yeah, I just, it's really beautiful. You
If
know,
it makes
it's
you sing, then it's singing
so, I'm
already.
sorry, what did you say?
If it makes you sing, then it's singing already. That is.
Yeah. Ba-da-da-da-da-da-da. Very beautiful. Yeah, very, very pretty. Um, I was reading something. I took my husband to the doctor today, and I, I keep I keep a paper by the side of my bed, for those ideas in the night that wake you up. And I had I had gotten up a few days ago in the middle of the night, and I wrote this whole story that was instigated in my head. And so I wanted to put it down, you know, on my iPad. So I was rereading earlier entries into this book, and it went all the way back to 2017. So um, there was one that was I was talking about kind of recognizing what is what is I'm not sure if it's the thing or something, but recognizing a quality that I can deliver as an artist and a person. And so, yeah, and it kind of reminds me of that piece because it's very direct. The communication of your piece is very direct. It's kind of simple in that way, right? There's not a lot of extra stuff, although it's not like you're being too simple, but it's very connected from here to here. And yeah, I just think that's a very valuable thing to put out into the world. You know, I think it's valuable for people to receive that and to maybe by receiving they learn how to how to put it out as well.
Yeah, this is why what I'm into. I also love when Charlie Hayden said, "We don't need great musicians, we need great people," and I think it's about that. It's you're talking about elevating the consciousness, doing some stuff on the self, so
Yeah,
that music comes out differently.
yeah,
Also, the last couple of weeks back, Bob Moses was here in our town with the trio. Also, our guitarist Samo Shalamon invited him, and they did a tour with him. And I heard the guy. I never heard him so directly. You know, on the recordings, you don't hear. I
yeah.
don't. And I heard, and went to him and I said, "Wow, are you going to nature? What are you? What is your base? Because I feel that you are in connection with energy that connects all living beings." And that was it. We became friends immediately. He started talking, and we were like, you know. And I come to next gig in Slovenia also, and he started talking like there would be no pause in between, you know. So I like you people. All that I'm so happy to get in connection, because it is not a lot of people in this world that would like to change and would like to elevate. You know, I think 99% of people don't want to change, and so artists want to change. We need to change. We need to go further. We have a need to explore
Yeah,
the music and the self and everything. We have a need somehow.
yeah.
Not all. Some are stealing, some are imitating, but
That's true. Sorry, I've been sneezing a lot today.
stealing. We say na zdravje.
Oh, na zdravje.
Na zdravje. Yes, yes.
Well, you said a number of things in that. First of all, you said you think like 99% of the people don't really want to change. But then you said, but most artists want to change. And if you remember when we were talking about in the beginning, before we came on, we were talking about how many artists there really were on the planet. And I think after, especially after doing this show for the last, almost 3 years, I really became aware that there's so many artists on the planet. We don't think we're led to believe that we don't exist in such abundance. We're led to believe that, especially in America, we're led to believe that being an artist is kind of a luxury that you know, you end up poor or ignored or, that kind of thing. And Europe definitely has an elevated point of view of artistry. But there's, I always think that, and I'm sure you do too, because you're a teacher, but I always think that everybody, of course, is an artist. However, they have these blocks, one after the other, right? And those of us who are searching and who are desirous of change, we don't have as many blocks, and being an artist, our job is to reflect, take in, absorb what's around us, and then reflect it back so that people can kind of see it, use it as a mirror, and are more able to accept it because it's on a pleasant wave,
Yes. Yes, I think I should say that it appears that many people don't
Yeah,
want, because maybe it's going so slow that maybe we cannot see it,
Yeah.
because like this idea of or fruit eating was in my back of my head from when I was 17.
It
And I
was.
realized it, yeah.
Yeah.
Then I saw this, hear about this man that has 6 months to live, and he tried the last thing, the fruit diet, and like
He cured
he
himself.
yeah, yeah.
Yeah.
So I said, oh, if sometimes I came to some disease, I will try this, and I forgot about it. So yeah, we have hope that we can do good things, and we're trying to do the best we can.
Yeah.
I think this is important.
Yeah.
And you said how many of us there is, and you said we are here to save the world.
Right. I really do think so. I think
Yeah,
we balance the planet out. We balance the crapola, you know.
yeah,
I call it
yeah,
crapola.
yeah, yeah. So no censor.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Yeah. Yeah. Well, first of all, I wanted to show this. My friend found this on you. This artist info, music.metason.net. Are you familiar with this site? Because you're here.
Oh, no.
See, sometimes you don't know, people.
Uh,
Okay.
maybe someday somebody asked me if he could do something on me. Maybe this is it.
Well, I can send it to you.
Yes.
I'll send it to you in the chat box in Zoom. But yeah, I guess there's. Have you recorded only with Borut?
Yeah, till I recorded only with Borut. Also, we did one track for film music. Also, we did one album. We did like poetry. Um, we did some music that we are also singing.
Oh,
The Echoes of Dra was basically more my music than his. And now we're preparing the new album, but it is going slowly for us because we are also teaching, and we take time so that we are satisfied. We can afford this.
yeah.
Also, one project is also being put on hold because of illness. And I have also solo program, but this is everything not realized, but will be in the nearest future. For now, I'm only known by this one album, the Echoes.
Yes. The echoes of River Drava.
Dra, yeah. Dra
And
is the river that we grew up together by.
oh, now, if I play one of these, which one? I don't know if they play the whole thing. Um, what would you like me to play?
Um, you would like Mountain Ride. This is up tempo because.
Yeah, I was afraid of that. I think this site is. I think the site is.
Only meant for
Yeah,
yeah, yeah.
yeah, but something like this.
This will play.
Okay,
The Echoes of River Drava.
it's a beautiful video too, by the way.
Thanks.
Yeah. I like the quiet after too. It's beautiful. Ad mevi reke drave.
Yeah, you read great.
What does it mean?
Means the echoes of River Drava.
Okay, cool. Nice, beautiful. It's really nice.
Yeah, I still like to hear this album.
Um,
It turns out to be not in control. I was not so in control, like you know, many times musicians record something and then everything polished, everything perfect,
yeah,
in control, and then you're bored. And
yeah,
this was made in church. We recorded for a couple of nights,
yeah,
and we took the best improvisation. We did the sound somehow developed, and the improvisations developed. And lastly, this is not only about us. The Echos of River Drava is about every living being there, about the river, about the animals, people, our childhood. You know, the stories, and it's actually not so much about us like musicians, you know. So we're not promoting this, we're promoting some stories, and that's maybe maybe that's why I like to hear it, because it takes me to that place, and I'm just an observer and a carrier, you know, like postman.
yeah, yeah, yeah. Yeah,
So I
I
like the
get that.
package.
Yeah, that's really nice. I understand. It's beautiful. That's a beautiful beautiful concept. Yeah.
Yeah.
It's really very nice, and especially when you describe it, the echoes of the river, which is that's what it is. It's life,
Mhm.
life that comes off of the present moment of time from the river out, right?
Mm.
Also, what's happened and
Mm.
past, I guess, too. Yeah, it's really quite beautiful. That's a very, it's a good perspective to keep holding. And then the music comes out beautiful, you know. Um,
It
let's see,
only
I
takes
have,
it only takes it's the only problem is that it takes a lot of time to develop, to let it to let it develop. For me, it takes a lot of time. I couldn't imagine to produce every year. Maybe yes, if I wouldn't be teaching, but otherwise I don't know. I have to let it ripen like a fruit, you know. And time it's time, you know. Can you do?
we have a few comments and um, Mark Baldrich, he said what he likes about your music is even though the music is complex, the music is still melodic.
Mm.
And Joyce says she loves accordion. And Roland, yeah, is saying to him it reminds him of the genre of Americana,
Uh-huh.
which, yeah, definitely, Roland. That's definitely in the whole um, family of this music. Actually, if you noticed on that last page we were looking at, I think it said folk, world, and I don't know if it said jazz or not. Folk, world, and jazz, possibly.
Mm.
Um, and also, Joyce is saying a little bit like the group Oregon, with Ralph Towner.
Yeah, yeah. I went through Ralph Towner a lot. I like what he did with the classical guitar. He did stuff that nobody did to groove on the classical, you know. Till him in this way, I didn't hear that, because he went to Vienna, to Austria, to learn from Karl Scheidt, one teacher
Oh,
here, and he was living for 1 year here.
oh,
Uh, yeah, very austeric life, and he was studying, and he actually learned the classical style
oh,
of, not Brazilian, not any. He actually learned the thing, and then he took it to music, to composition, to jazz,
yeah,
and he has all those tones, all these varieties, and he did with the guitar. Like I think in the periods of classical music, I
Yeah.
think he's the next hip thing that happened in the classical. You know,
Huh.
it is now, so it is not time. It is not like we're talking about Tarega, but
Yeah.
I think they will talk about him in this way
Huh.
100 years from now.
Huh.
So he's my like something that I had to go through. I didn't learn his pieces. I got to his school a little, and I was listening how he is growing like, with this style of classical approach and tone and sound, and I said, "Wow, this is cool. This I must learn. This is somehow I must learn to groove like this way." So he was. I also met him live, and I remember I asked him one question. I asked him, "How do you great musicians? How do you know to play enough so that you don't play too much? Because the tendency is to speak too much or play too much." And he told me that the audience tells you. Tells him like he said the audience is like one cell organism, you know, and I notice when I'm losing attention, so I do like pause, I stop, like poop, I do the moment, and then the attention comes back. So that's how he explained to me. And then this works for me for like for grooves that I'm accompanying. Like he's playing, his style is to play some groove, to play some chords like pianist would do, and he would play melody, and in between he would play accompaniment and bass, and he's leading the melody, and in between he is putting stuff, you know, like he would be playing a piano, but this is an illusion because but when you hear it, you hear everything like he would play this way.
All
But
together.
when the melody happens, sometimes there is nothing else, you know, or maybe just bass, and this is his style, and this has worked for me to some extent. And
Uh-huh.
then I wanted to play only melody and groove. And
Yeah.
then when I came to this, then I saw the best what I could hear is from Pat Metheny.
Oh,
Pat
yeah.
Metheny.
Yeah.
That's like if you hear the Missouri Sky,
Yeah.
you hear this great tone, this great variety of sounds. That sound is like you were talking. It's round and then it's thin and then it's round. It's going like this. You know, most guitarists is going like this. It's always also in classical. It's always the same, and then you get bored, and then you can listen only to harmonic language. In most cases, but I found the Metini did it like then I heard one lesson. It is on YouTube, and he talks to a student that the time is important and how the left hand and right hand must be independent. Like left hand have to do, you can switch in the middle. He said some guitarists can't switch in the middle. So he said, "This is a gold mine." Okay, I said, "Okay, this is a gold mine. Okay, I have to do this." And again, I wanted to do it myself. You know, I didn't want to copy, but just to follow.
Yeah.
So this is difference for me to follow or to copy. This is difference for me, and I wanted to follow. So I went through that also, and then I heard Lenny Brew, this harmonic style, this harp harmonics, and I said, "Wow, this is so nice! Wow, I have to learn this." And this also, so these three guitarists influenced me, I think, the most on the acoustic.
Do you know Ted Green as well?
Yes, yes, yes. I love also his talks on Lenny Bro. He talks also about Lenny. Although I was more attracted to guitaristically to somehow to Lenny. I don't know why.
Yeah.
Maybe because of this harmonic stylist. And also it's a great thing to teach to children. You know, Lenny's style. He was like he would take from blues. Oh, no sound. Oh, okay. He would take like accompaniment only the from the chord, the third and seventh, and then would play a pentatonic chord. And it's this the children can learn. It's like pentatonic, and then it's very easy to especially in the classical when we're always playing two things at the same time or three things.
Yeah.
So this is what I like from Lanny also.
Yeah.
That Green is too complicated for me. This chords and this system, this was maybe too complicated for me. But I
Yeah.
like to listen to this one album from him. It's I don't know the name, but this, then you there
He
you
only,
can
yeah, he only made the one album.
yeah. He only made the one.
Yeah, I mean, I have actually I put out he and I together, but that was unusual too.
Yeah, I
He
heard.
never did. Yeah, but he when you listen to him, it's really but guitar, I mean, I can imagine a guitarist listening to him, you know, has a particular point of view because you're a guitar player, and you're hearing that. But yeah, I think it's well, first of all, just the fact that his mind is thinking bass note, melody, and chords all at once.
Yeah, all at once. Yeah.
Yeah, he was especially intrigued by movie themes. He really loved movie themes, and that was some of the most beautiful stuff that I had heard him play. And he had this unending interest, which was lovely, just being a part of, you know, seeing somebody with this unending interest is just great. Guitar players. I've met guitar players, so many guitar players who have that interest, and I always make the joke that two old guitar players can come together, in their 80s or 90s, and they say, "Look at this voicing I just found," and it always makes me laugh. It's like it's forever. The guitar is forever. It's such there's no end to what can happen on guitar.
Yeah, yeah. But I found that you found something, and then it works to some extent on guitar, and it don't work full extent. Then you feel, oh, maybe this will work, and then again, well, this works till here, and it is for me. It works best with only melody. That I'm most satisfied that I play only melody,
Yeah,
or that I play that the groove is the most important. Like this I also miss. That's why I get bored maybe sometimes also from Lenny's music, and also Ted Green doesn't do so much groove things. He because it is so hard what he plays. But I like that. Africa.
yeah,
I need this in my life, in my music, and this I miss most on like on when listening to guitarists.
yeah.
Yeah.
That reminds me of somebody. I'm trying to think of who. Yeah, that's a great. That's great to hear. I'm sorry. I have. Could you spell the name of the artist who did the work behind you? Because there's a person on who's asking, and she missed
Uh,
what you said.
I will try to write it because
Okay.
I'll write it in the comments.
Okay. Then we will. I'll translate.
Audio Bacala. Okay, I will share the link to the
Okay. Oh, great.
to Google. So you just this.
She's an artist herself. She lives in Seattle.
Okay.
Joyce, I guess you must have missed when we were talking about it, but it was interesting because, oh, thank you. Oh, you're sharing it there. Great. So, yeah, it was interesting because we were talking about, or Andrea was talking about being in the woods. This is my interpretation of what you said, but being in the woods was basically the beginning, being in the center, and then we moved out of that into things like hunter gatherer and moved out into more of the action of the rest of the world and kept moving out and out. But in this center, this is where we were in the beginning. And anyway, that's when I brought up the painting behind him because it's so beautiful. Beautiful. Claudio Bacala. Bacala. Yeah, thank you. Um, yeah.
Yeah, if you're interested in this theory or research, I can share also about Tony Wright, about that this what we are talking with what we were talking before, what you asked about the center of Earth and jungle and so on and development.
Is this a whole
Mm.
theory that he keeps thinking about, or is this a book,
Yeah,
or?
it's a book. It's a book. First edition is called Left in the Dark, but I would like to find the second one. I hope I could find it.
Yeah. Andre, do you perform too? Do you guys perform, or do you
Yeah,
perform with other people as well, or mostly
I
with
perform
Borut?
mostly with Borut and alone and solo.
Ah, okay.
Mm.
So, do you perform? Do you travel?
Not so much. I perform mostly in Slovenia
Yeah, yeah,
and Austria.
yeah.
So if I would be invited, I would go for, but I don't have a manager to management to go because we have like vacation from June to August. The
For the
school,
school. Yeah.
yeah,
Hmm.
and I think every 2 months is 1 week, so I could go, but I didn't feel the need to push myself.
Yeah.
So if the time comes, okay, it will happen anyway. So we play a lot here, a lot. I mean, enough.
Yeah.
Um, so it's always something to play.
Yeah.
So it's okay for me. It's it would. I always think, yeah, it would be better if a little more, But then again, I have time to research and do my own thing. It's also very satisfying. So
Yeah. Yeah.
yeah, not
Yeah.
pushing too much the business.
Yeah. I like to, for me, I have to pretty much, I'd say 90%, I have to get my own gigs, and it's
Mm,
always been like that. So that's been a big part of my life over the years. And so,
okay.
but that's when I can sing with people, and experience, most of the joy that I have because it's at least one other person and it's creating something. So I do like that. But in these days, it doesn't happen so much. One reason is because of the COVID, and the other reason is because I'm older. I'm just less. I don't know. When I was younger, I was really, go get that gig, go get that gig.
Oh,
And also, I had to survive, you know.
yeah,
And but I actually lived in Vienna for a little while.
yeah.
Yeah, I was. There's a school here, Musicians Institute, which started off as Guitar Institute, GIT,
Mhm.
and a lot of guitar players that you probably know of in LA at that time. This was probably GIT. Might have been in the late 70s or early 80s, maybe. And, Joe DiOrio and
Mm.
people like that, they were at the school teaching. So it started off as a guitar school in
Oh,
Hollywood. And then it started expanding. There was percussion, PIT, and then keyboard, KIT, and voice, VIT. So now it's all under the name of MIT, Musicians Institute. It
mm.
also, about 20 years ago or so, it got bought by the guy who started it, whose name I can never remember. He was a famous jazz guitar player, and he sold it to a Japanese man who owns schools and guitar manufacturing place in Japan. And anyway, I forget why I was saying all that.
You were saying that you were in Vienna.
Oh yeah,
Oh,
so a guitar player named Les Wise. Um, somebody's
sorry.
calling you. It's
Somebody. Zavrni.
okay.
So yeah, I have the sound is going through the sound card. I'm sorry.
No problem. Yeah, so Les Wise, he was a guitar teacher there, and he went to Vienna and started a school called AIM, American Institute of Music. And so I went over there to start the jazz vocal department. So I was there for a while. And yeah, then I decided to come back and I gave that gig to a friend of mine, Leela Thigpen, who lives there still. And she's lived there all this time. And she had taken over teaching, and then the school stopped, and then she just kept living there. Um, so yeah, right in, yeah, Vienna.
Mm. And you went to Slovenia also, you said. Wow.
Yeah, I did. I was at the beginning of the war. The war that
Really?
happened 25 years ago, 23 years ago. Yeah, I again, I was young and somebody said, "Oh, do you want to do this gig?" And I said, "Yeah." And so, war, what war? Anyway, so I was in a very nice hotel in Belgrade, and
Oh,
then I it was very interesting. I was there for 6 weeks, and I made a lot of good friends in town,
mm.
and I saw what was happening with the war, the insanity of the war, how it wasn't people like you and me, it was the insane leaders. And I also got a good perspective of how untruthful the news is. CNN was at my hotel, and the soldiers from the UN would come into the club in the hotel where we were, and I would get all the information from them, and CNN was not reporting it. They were talking about this much just to make a story. So I learned a lot there, and I was also in, I won't go into the whole long story of it, but I was in this frame of mind where I still believe this to an extent, but I've changed a little bit. But at that time, I was really thinking that all reality that I knew was created by me. And so this moment, my creation, my universe, you know, everything exists because it's in my reality. And I had some very amazing and spiritual experiences in that state of mind, like things that really actually happened in the real world. And it was pretty amazing. And then, so there was, that trip was I don't think I'll ever forget that trip because I got a lot from it. I got a lot from the people, the environment, the the um, politics that were happening, society, my reality. Yeah, it was quite a significant trip for me.
You know that the band Iron Maiden
Yeah.
also went to play in the times of actual war when there was actually Belgrade was closed and they did a gig there.
Wow.
And they recorded a documentary and they said that was the best gig they did because it was all real, because was no faking it, no like entertainment. And
Wow.
but actually Slovenia is small part of Yugoslavia. It's a small 2 million people
Yeah.
on the border with Austria and Italy.
Yeah.
We went away before the war. It was war in our country also. It was attempt to and it was war, but it was not a lot of people suffering because of it. It was over in 2 weeks, you know.
Oh.
And we went away, and then in Yugoslavia that was left, the Belgrade, there where you were, there was going on the real war.
Yeah.
So but we were not a part of it.
Oh.
Yeah, we are small part of Yugoslavia on the border with
Yeah.
Italy and
In
yeah,
Italy, Austria.
Austria.
Yeah. Um,
So we
so
had
is Switzerland is above that, right?
Switzerland is from Italy south from Italy to the left. You know, if
Yeah.
you and Slovenia is to the right.
Oh,
So
I see. I see.
yeah.
Yeah. Yeah. Yeah.
Yeah, but we understand the language is it of Yugoslavia, so
Yeah.
yeah.
You have a friend here,
Yeah,
Aljosa Krivograd.
Aljosha Krivograd. Oh, he's hello, Aljosha, zdravo.
And Alyosha says it's a privilege to know Andre and watching him develop over the years. Just amazing how he can take you to another dimension, he and his guitar.
Oh, thanks, man.
Mhm.
Aljosha plays drums also.
Nice to meet you. Yeah. Oh, and my friend Roland reminded me that Howard Roberts was the one who started GIT.
Okay.
Howard Roberts. I don't know if you know that name. He was kind of a jazz and a studio player here in Los Angeles for years. So,
Nice.
yeah. So, let's see. How about, would you like to play us something, or should I go look for a YouTube or?
No, I'd like to play something.
Okay.
I'll play a piece for you. Uh,
Okay.
when I was listening to this duo that you did, I remembered. Oh, I would like to play "The Village Girl" for Katie.
Oh,
Uh,
good.
it's called "The Village Girl." It's a miniature piece, very simple and nice.
Wow, beautiful. Very, very beautiful.
Called the Village Girl.
So, when you write something like this piece, first of all, do you do you write when you go out into nature? Is that when you write, or do you write at home, or just whenever it comes to you?
Whenever it comes to me, a lot of melodies come to me, but I'm not catching them.
Hmm.
But some of them are sticking, you
Yeah,
know,
yeah, yeah,
and coming again and
yeah,
again and again and again, and then they develop. And so that's the way I do it.
yeah,
I expect to make more if I would like try to catch them and work on them, but I'm not there yet. I don't know how to play it. I think the system I had developed and the freedom I have developed, my time is coming to do the music. Maybe in 10 years from now, I will be capable to do something nice. And till then, I'm just like, you know, just go and just improvise. I like the center. I like to, just just take the center and then yeah, I could do this whole day. It doesn't have to develop so much for me in the harmony, and I can go out. I can go out, and it stays the same center. Like that's why I like this part of Coltrane. I like a lot, and even more so the Alice Coltrane. She I think she was spiritual even more developed. He was musically more developed, maybe than she, but she was spiritually very developed. She did beautiful music also for Krishna and about Vrindavan, and
yeah,
I listened. And they have this center always, and then you can go out and just follow whatever comes and react. You can make an accident, like in life you can have an accident, but
yeah,
how you act after the accident is important.
yeah.
Survive or to care, or you know so You can play anything on guitar if you try to understand it and try to like Herbie Hancock says, try to make the mistake and then try to answer for it. Try to I don't know the words.
Develop it or
Yeah,
yeah,
try to justify it. You know,
yeah,
why does this happen? What meaning does it have?
yeah,
What and you can do this with music, and it works. It works nicely.
yeah,
So I can do this. I love to do this stuff,
yeah.
and I also love Bach music, and I'm also attracted to the stuff that he wrote that is only for one instrument, like the cello.
Uh-huh.
It's only one, and this is for me. This is the language for music. If you ask me, that is, I don't need the emotion, the sound, and I only listen to Bach. This it could be played by computer. It would be interesting for me for harmonic reasons. So I'm attracted again and again, and I'm looking for the way maybe to someday develop some maybe cello suites on guitar, or for flute. He also wrote something, and I'm constantly driven to that, and I do something and then I stop. And for me, maybe I will never record it because I have this friend on accordion, Borut Mori. He says, better do your own music. This is already done, you know. Don't waste time. And, and there are people that have dedicated life to this, to Bach, and they will do it 1,000 times better than you. Better do your own, you know. So I'm happy to have him in my life. He's always correcting me to the right course.
My friend who I spoke with yesterday, Korean piano player Yun Sung Cho, he
Mhm.
um, he he's classically trained, but he went deep into jazz as well, and he arranges for K-pop as well. But he said when he discovers something new, he researches and discovers something, he will practice it for a short time in
Mhm.
one sitting, and then again the next day, and again and so on and so on. He'll do it instead of one big, huge, learning moment. It's like small, 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 small. So he's adding it in, which is interesting,
I'm not. When I find something, and it's a whole week only this thing. Because for me the guitar is still like if I found some motive or something, and to develop and to go through the whole neck, it's still easier to me to do it on the piano for some things, because it's always the same. But on guitar it's like the
Yeah,
shapes are like, now I can see them, but still sometimes I miss the shape, because I want to see the whole shape in like the whole neck once, and it still happens for me to miss some when I'm improvising. You when I'm improvising, when I'm really in the sound, I don't see nothing. I
yeah,
There's no guitar, there's only sound. But I go back to the I need it sometimes, to go
yeah,
back to see it. And this switching sometimes still not enough practice. I'm playing only 40 years. I need about 6 lifetimes. We had that.
don't we all? Yeah.
Had
Um,
this
a
to think.
friend, a friend of yours is here, uh, Ivan Poroknik.
Ivan Porochnik.
He said something in Slovenian, but I translated it, and it says Andre's music is music with a lot of feeling, music that speaks.
Oh, these are all friends from Dravograd. They all live by River Drava. So nice. So
Um,
yeah, there was one astrologer that said that Ravi Shankar, to become Ravi Shankar, he said that he needed 6 lifetimes to become Ravi Shankar. I don't know. This is playing music and understanding music for me. 6 lifetimes would be
six lifetimes, yeah. Um, and um, when you have when you have time off from teaching, are you well, you have a girlfriend or a mate, so I'm sure there's some time spent. And you mentioned going fishing with your musical partner.
yeah. This is when we were children.
Oh, when you were children. So, but probably you do a lot of just making music and playing, right? In your time off
Play
from
a lot.
teaching.
Mm, I'm a lot with the guitar. I can watch TV and play guitar. No problem.
Well, yeah, all guitar players can do that. They just go into guitar land. Yeah, you can be talking to a guitar player and he's doing this and he's in guitar land, but he's also talking to you.
Yeah, I play a lot, but now also I have bought this land and
Oh
trees,
yeah.
so when we go there, it's normally 6 o'clock, and then till 8 9. Then it's music when I'm alone, especially when I go alone, and I'm out and caring for the trees, planting trees now a lot, and then at evening again the music, so on, so on. This is I when we with Karin when we go also he's she reads books, she can read a book a day, no problem. It's our time. I take guitar, we go to nature, we go to seaside, and these are the best times for me.
Yeah. That's great.
Yeah, simple living, simple living, high thinking, somebody said.
Do you listen to other musicians a lot now, or did that happen earlier?
Yeah, I listen to Bob Moses now. I bought a bunch of CDs. He also gave me some, and
Did he give you did he give you CG CG what's his name? CG Munoz?
to CG Monos. Yeah, yeah. I didn't know about him.
I didn't either. He gave me a whole bunch of his
Yeah, yeah. And
recordings.
I listened to the CD, but it was for me the guitar was too loud, and then I listened some videos from him, and I particularly don't like the distorted sound. But I stick through one live gig with TCG and also
Oh,
Bob Moses, and I on YouTube I found and I listened to it. Although it was hard music, like total atonal, and but it was with this center in this mood. And this guitar was something like I didn't like this distorted sound, but I went through the whole experience, and it was like I was reborn. I went through some experience spiritually that I
oh,
didn't catch it at the. This happens a lot with the spiritual people that you don't know, but you notice when you go through that you were in touch with something.
right.
The one, and I experienced all. I was like, wow, great, crazy, wow, the best. So yeah, yeah, he introduced me also to this he- Kaiser, some guitarist. Um, no, not the Kaiser from the Usual Suspects movie, but the Henry Kaiser.
I know that name, yeah.
He is on Alaska. He is partly working with under the water. And he
Yeah.
is guitarist. And he does music inspired from this part of land. He
Right, right.
and he
I
plays also under the water. He did one video he had special guitar that
oh,
he takes under the water, and So Bob Moses explained about him, and he said only he talks about the CG at the time. No, it's not a lot of talk about this great
Yeah,
guitarist.
and Tizigi, he played with a lot of people, you
Yeah,
know?
and a lot of
So,
the people
yeah,
wanted him to play with them, and he rejected.
yeah. Yeah, it's
Also,
very interesting. I first heard Bob when I was in college at Boston, in Boston at Berkeley. And that was, the mid 70s, early mid 70s. And the jazz that was happening, that was popular then, was Weather Report, which Bob Moses at that time was very similar, you know, and and ECM was getting very popular, starting to get popular at that time, the label, and so Pat Metheny was kind of sneaking in there, and yeah, all the ECM people. And the thing that attracted me about them, even Bob and Weather Report, they had their grooves, but they also had space, you know. And the other thing that they had was, which really intrigued me. Let's see. Well, sometimes I explain this to my students. Well, Peter Erskine actually told me this once. So when Peter got into Weather Report, he had been playing with Stan Kenton first. He was very young. And with Stan Kenton's kind of music, the drummer or whomever would imitate what they heard. Like if the piano was comping, the drummer would comp the same thing, right? And then, but, and then he got into Weather Report, and in the beginning he was listening with what's his name, the Zawinul. He was listening to a recording that they had done live, and Peter was feeling all, cocky, like, yeah, And he heard something like that where he matched, and Zawinul said, "Too bad you had to do that." And Peter was like, destroyed for a minute, But then what was happening was, so I like to use this idea for my students because, especially like I was telling you earlier, sometimes the singers are so, they're not musicians and they just don't get it. So if this is the time, and then you're playing guitar, so you have an elastic band. One end is around this time and the music going by. One end you're holding. Then I'm the singer. I'm holding one end and have the other end around this. So here's the time in the song. It's always going by, but I can do whatever I want on my end. But I have to. I'm connected to that, and so are you. And that's what Weather Report taught me. It was like, oh, you can do anything you want as long as you're all connected to the same source. Yeah, I really love that. And that's, I think, earlier you had asked what I really like to listen to. I like to listen to music that gives me that feeling. You know, there's one, and actually, even just listening to you solo, it's like that, right? Because as you said, the bass, the core is there, and it's always there, and then you can do whatever you want around it because it's connected, right? Yeah,
do you know something about Alice Coltrane?
yeah.
Yeah. Do you know some stories or some info on her?
I
What
don't
is
know
his?
much about her, and I actually interviewed her daughter, their daughter, Michelle Coltrane. She's a really cool person, and the only personal things I know is that her mother created. They lived here in Los Angeles in a house, and then her mother bought the house next door to make a yoga retreat there. So she had the yoga retreat there. And Michelle, it's interesting because Michelle really to me is a little more of an R&B singer. However, she brings, what Alice and John
Mm.
gave her into it. So you
Uh-huh.
never hear that kind of stuff. It's a very unique sound. Really, I really like it. But I don't know much about Alice actually. And you probably know a lot.
No, I know a lot about. I listen a lot of her music, and
Yeah.
I know the philosophy that I was also in because I'm so many years into the spiritualism of India,
I know,
especially in Krishna.
I know Michelle said that her mother either wrote ragas or taught them ragas. So they grew up knowing the ragas,
Mm.
which is pretty cool, right?
Yeah,
Yeah.
yeah.
Did Alice write ragas?
I don't know, but because ragas are actually two things. Ragas are the music written by the old teachers of India, and
Okay.
they're played like classical music from note to note, and are uh, uh, given to over to the students and over and over. So everybody um, learns the same thing, but they're highly spiritual and they have the story, they have the impact, and also the raga is also can be very simple. It can develop when you play for God, something that you do. Also, it's also can be raga. So if you ask me if she did the ragas, she did the raga all the time.
Right.
It's very, yeah, I like her sound. She was playing like harp, and
Uh-huh. Yes.
one instrument sounds like some electronic instrument. I don't know what it's like. The
Yeah.
sound sounds like some harmonium, but she was playing like Coltrane, stuff on this this synthesizer. I don't know what
Yeah. Yeah.
uh,
I don't
like
know either.
sound, and also the compositions she made with the orchestra, with the violins and stuff. It's also I when I listen to this, I wonder where did she get these musicians that they would play the way this in this way, in
Yeah.
this groovy way, because the classicals, not all. This is changing with the time, with the new generations, but you could not find the classical guitarist with great time
Yeah. Yeah.
before Ralph Towner came.
Well, okay. Well, on that note, I think that's a great ending comment. It's been 2 hours. Thank you so much. It's been really a pleasure getting to know you. I really
Thanks,
appreciate your time.
thanks. I'm happy to have met you, and if you are in Slovenia someday, feel free to visit. Always.
I will come to Slovenia. I want to eat the cheese and the meat. Not around you,
No,
because around you I'll only eat the fruit.
you'll come to my orchard, and we will eat fruit for 1 week to see what happened to your cough.
Okay.
Joking.
All right. I'm going to look into fruitarian actually.
I'm joking.
I'm going to look into it. Maybe I'll try it for a week or two.
we
What
can
do you,
we
what
can
do you
try.
think?
Yeah, it would be a good thing to do.
Yeah.
Maybe before you try a week that you take the fat uh, below 15 or 15% for caloric intake.
So
At least
fat is meat. I don't eat a lot of meat, but fat is meat, right?
fat is oil,
Oil.
nuts, butter, cheese, meat.
Okay. I don't eat a lot of dairy. Hardly. In fact, the only real dairy I eat is from like oats or cashews, and it's
Yeah.
not really dairy. So, yeah,
You
and
can eat all the stuff like pasta and everything, but you don't add a lot of oil, so
okay.
you keep fat low. So then you can transition to fruit. And when you eat fruit, don't eat together with some with nuts, or because it's very hard to digest, because the nuts are also fat and they need 3 hours, and melon needs 15 minutes so to digest. So
And
this
one
is,
more question about that. Do you eat all kinds of fruits together or not?
I like to eat mono meals. Like I take one fruit. If it's good, it's special. One apple, it's special, and the other apple is have different. But sometimes I would do the smoothie and put together. But because I was ill, my body was also doing the best with one fruit, and not the acidic ones, more the tropical ones like bananas, papaya, mango. This is the best if you can get tropical. They also have a good ratio of fatty acids like omega, uh, whereas continental fruits like apples and figs and they don't have enough fatty acids. So you will have to take some seeds if you want to be healthy on a continental diet. If you eat tropical from the core of the earth, then there's everything in the package, so no problem.
This sounds like some research
Yeah,
is
actually,
good,
it is.
right?
Hanging with people that do this.
Right.
Yeah.
Okay, we'll see how I can bring it together to try that. Thank you.
Thanks, Katie. All best to you and
Thank
yours.
you. You
All
too.
best to all viewers, and thanks for sticking with me.
Thank you. And just a note for people. Tomorrow I was supposed to have Jim Keltner first. He had to postpone. Then I booked Mon David. He postponed. So it's going to be Cathy Segal-Garcia tomorrow. And Wednesday, a German singer and trumpet player named Jeff Cascaro. So that's the live people for this week.
Thank you, Katie. All right.
Thanks, Andre. Say hello to Karen for me.
Hello, Karin. Ciao.